Hello everyone. How about we try and make yet another attempt to try and get this boombox working. Today we're going to try and finally get the auto reverse working. I don't know if we're going to be able to do anything with the fast forward and rewind, but I might look into that too. But for the most part, this video is going to be trying to find a gear that actually works in this thing. As you remember from my last part, or as you may remember, the one I got split when I tried to put it on because it was too tight and I didn't have the proper tools to address that situation. But now I do. Presenting needle files. Those will come in handy today if I can't find anything else, but you'll notice I've got twice the number of normal speakers we have when you get one of these things. And that's because these, as you will recall from my thrifting video, were found at a thrift store in Banff. And as it turns out, these are the speakers for a CFS-9000. So, very similar boombox. In fact, I'll just show you here. If I can find the catch. Of course, it's going to make me look behind to find the catch. You can take one of these speakers off and just drop these in, and they work just as well. So I was excited to find these because you'll notice that this woofer's got holes in it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to move these woofers over to this box, and I found, after I got them side by side like this, they are not exactly the same, but I think they will still swap over just fine. So probably going to do that too in this video. Maybe off camera, maybe not, but first things first, we got to get in here and address this gear again and hopefully get it working. Now, after my last video, I was in contact with the designer of the gear, and we sort of came to a mutual agreement that he would modify the sorry about that, that he would modify the 3D print so that I could have a range of different gears to try in both smaller and larger sizes, and then I'm to report back to him once I find the one that works best. So, and I meant to get to this a lot sooner, so if he's watching, I apologize. Time's just gotten away from me and I've just gotten too busy doing other things. So yeah, hopefully we can get answers for him too today. And then once I find the right gear to use out of this bank of 5 here, he's going to modify the final product in the storefront, and then you guys will be getting the same gear that I found works best. At least that's the plan. So let me get this apart and we'll get started. Okay, so we're down to the nuts and bolts of this thing again. And just ready to go here. I've already got the head wires desoldered. I gotta pull them through the spring yet, but that's trivial. Just go ahead and do that real quick. Be real gentle with these wires because you don't want them broken. What are you tangled up on there? Okay, let's have a look at these new gears, since we are now ready to install something. I tried to get this printed in a couple of different types of plastic, but as it turns out, this is the type of plastic that would work. So we're just going to have to go with the what we got here. Now, the center one is supposed to be the actual one that's supposed to fit this, but we know how that turned out last time. And then there are 2 sizes that are smaller, and there are 2 sizes that are bigger. There's a plus, and there's a plus plus, there's a minus, and there's a minus minus. And I'm not exactly sure which is which, because I don't know if any of this is printed on here at all. Oh, wait, yes it is. This one's the plus plus. This is the minus minus. So we're going to try the center one first. And I'll point out to you that I already have the head being held in place by shop towel. So yeah, let's get going on this and we'll see which gear is the right one here. All right, trying the center one first. I don't expect this one to work because it didn't work last time. All right, let's see if we can get this to go on. It is fitting. Sorry about that, guys. My throat today. It is fitting better than last time. At least it's attempting to go on, but it's really tight yet. So I'm going to try the next one up and I'll set that off to the side. If I have to file that down, I can. Okay, where's the plus gear? It would help if I could see what I'm doing here. All right, this one should be the plus gear. We'll try that one. Okay, plus gear. How does this fit? That one went right on. We've got us a winner here. So plus gear seems to be working. Just checking both sides, or multiple angles here, just in case. I don't think it's all the way down yet. And yes, this is a winner. The +1 gear worked. Now the question is, do I want to glue it down yet? I could. I probably should. Yeah, we'll glue that down. I'm just going to go ahead and use some good old super glue, if you can see that right there. But before I do that, I want to put the other gears back on, just to make sure everything's gonna work here. Oh yes, it's probably good if I clean that up and add some new lube as well. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And yeah, I suspect what's going on with the fast forward and rewind is I don't think the control IC is actually sending the signal to the solenoids. I did check the solenoids. They all work. So, or at least they're all good. Don't know about working, but they are all good. All right, let me see if I can find my miniature screwdrivers here. So I can get this gear back on. All right, now I'm going to remove my shop towel here. I just want to check if this actually works. See if I can even do that. I have to make sure that it's pushing the flippy doodle head thing over far enough. It looks like it is. Kind of. Of course, it would help better if I put the spring on with it. If I can remember how the spring went on. There we go. Now let's check her again. I don't know. It's interfering with the head wires some, it looks like. I might have to figure something out with that. But yeah, I think this is going to work. So I'm going to call this good. If I have to make any alterations, I can do so with this gear. Maybe move it over a tooth or two. But I think it's going to be okay. It's engaging this gear properly, so that's all we really needed out of it. But the question is, can I get super glue down in there without messing with these head wires? Thinking no, honestly, so I gotta pull this gear back off there so I can glue it down. All right, I think we got her. Yes, I believe we've got her. Get this spring out of the way again, which is now hooked to a wire, because that's always what we want. Needs to go on a little bit further yet. And I got it. So this thing should be able to auto reverse now. We'll have to try it and see. Super glue is already setting up, so that's good. Just want to come over to this side. Sorry, I'm not checking the shot again. And I just want to be sure the auto reverse engages properly here. And it seems to, but it's having trouble getting back to its original position. Certainly the spring is supposed to be helping with that, but I don't know that it is really. Of course, I don't have the spring connected right now, so that doesn't help either. Now if I can just get the spring to come back up here. Actually, maybe it would be better to hook it around like this. Instead of the 180-degree direction. Maybe that'll interfere with the wires less. Let's find out, shall we? It's really not moving as well as I would like it to. But the gear is on properly. So we're just going to have to put this back in the machine and test it, I think. Then if I have to do any alterations with this gear, I'll have to do that afterwards, maybe. Maybe I really needed to have lubed that a little before I stuck a bunch of glue in there. Well, the glue should be set up now, so why don't I go get some sewing machine oil. All right, updates. So the new gear has failed, unfortunately. There I was testing on it, and suddenly I noticed it was starting to shed teeth off of it. So the default material for this stuff, the only material I was able to order for it, is not strong enough to be used in this application. So I have reported my findings back to the designer. We'll see what they say. Not sure exactly what else I will do at this point. Most likely, as you can see here, I've got it locked back into unidirectional playback, and I think this is where mine's going to stay. I just don't have the kind of patience needed to try and deal with this situation anymore. It's just too maddening. I've spent too much time on it already, and now I've got the added dimension of a screw failure. So that's fun. Yeah, I'm kind of regretting buying this boombox now, actually. I get that they're nice boomboxes, but Sony clearly never designed them to be used this far into the future, so yeah. This one is going to end here, I think. Sad to say, but it is what it is. Now, am I going to try and diagnose the fast forward and rewind thing yet? I don't know. Let me try and figure something out to get this put back together properly, and then we'll see. Okay, so before I get this transport all the way back in the deck, I decided to just go ahead and open up the backside again, and then we'll look at these gears and stuff and see what kind of shape they're in. This could be causing the rewind issues as well. So we've got a bunch of split washers we're going to have to get rid of. Fortunately, that's not so difficult. Now just let me check here. I don't immediately see any broken teeth, but I do see a spring that came off from somewhere. Let me see if I can try to figure out where that spring might have come from. It's way down in there. I doubt I can get you in there to see it. And I'm about to lose that spring, so I better take out some more of these gears if I want to do anything with that. Oh, this deck is just a bundle of laughs. All right, there's two. See if I can get this little guy out of there. There's that gear. You can tell me if you see any broken teeth on it, because I certainly don't. Now the spring I'm talking about is right down in there, and I do see where it's supposed to go now. Let me grab you here and we'll try and get you in for a closer look. See, the spring is right here. If you can see where I'm pointing, it's right down in there, and I think it engages with this plate here. Whether this is causing the fast forward rewind issues, I kind of doubt it, but could certainly be contributing. And as I mentioned, I've already tested all of these solenoids. There's 1, 2, and 3 down here. They're all good. So I don't know exactly what's going on. I just know it's annoying, so I got to put you back on the table here so I can try and deal with this little spring. And I just don't know if I can get you a good vantage point on this, but I will try. So, actually, it might be best to just take that one off too. Hate dealing with too many split washers, but it is what it is. All right, let me see if I can get this guy off. And then this guy off. There's our teeny tiny little spring, if you can see it right there. Now, whether or not I'm going to be able to get that spring to go on where it's supposed to, I don't like my odds on that one, but I will give it a shot. Actually, the little post that spring is supposed to go onto is broken. So I don't know if you saw it, but there's a little hole in that piece of plastic there. I'm going to try and put the spring into that hole. At least that's what I'm hoping to do here. I'm going to have to take this back out, I think, so I can get rid of the remains of that old post. But yeah, what a shock, eh? Get inside a Sony that has clearly broken its auto reverse gear. Not expecting to find any other broken stuff. You're crazy. Because you're going to find broken stuff. And you're going to have a bunch of stuff coming apart where you don't want it. Like I just did. I'm just trying to doctor the spring here so it'll fit into that hole. I don't know if I got it in the right hole or not for this piece. Probably did not. Let me shut you off real quick so I can check my footage. All right, so I got the spring back on. Just trying to give you a look at what I did here. As you can see, I've got it running right to that little hole. And I think it's going to work. Not sure it's going to work, but I think it's going to work. Let me see if I can manipulate this little piece to... Yeah, I think that's going to work. Now, am I going to find any other problems while I'm in here? Maybe I best look. Maybe that would be a good idea. On a deck that won't auto-reverse anymore. Yes, I'm not wasting my time at all. Well, you know what? I think that's going to be the end of it for me. I'm just tired of working on this thing. Such an irritating little mechanism to work on. Now, how did all this stuff go back in? Good question. I gotta check my footage again because I wasn't paying attention. Alright, as you can see, I got the gears back in and everything back in, and I'm just going to reassemble now, and then we'll see what happens with the auto, or not with the auto reverse, with the fast forward and rewind. I had to make some more repairs to these head wires down here because of course I did, but whatever. At this point, I'm pretty well over this deck, so let me get this reassembled and then we'll see what happens. Alright, will this thing do fast forward and rewind now? Well, we're about to find out. Power on. Tape is on. And let me see here. Which one is the one to fool the deck into working? Okay, playback works. It's trying to do something in rewind. I can hear the motor running for fast forward. Yeah, there's more wrong with this than a spring that came off. Anyway, I'm done with this. I've had enough. Let me put this back together, and then maybe we'll work on the speakers yet. How's that? Alright, before I do anything with swapping woofers around, we gotta be sure that these CFS-9000 speakers actually work, so we're gonna do that first. And I hope this thing actually plays a tape without eating it, because that's exactly what I'm going to try to do right now. If it eats it, no big loss. It's just a normal bias tape, so let's try a little vaporwave. Great, we've lost the left channel again. It's probably the frickin' head wires. I hate that. Forget it, I'm not getting back inside this thing again. Let's go with the tuner here. Well, that control's dirty. And we've got two working tweeters, and it appears to have two working woofers. Not that I would know, because the stupid tape deck isn't working again. It never ends with this thing. But yeah, at least we've got a couple of working speakers here, it sounds like. So yeah, I'm going to have to get back in there and fix the head wires again. Not that I want to. I will do that on another day, because at this point I'm so darn frustrated that I'm ready to recycle this whole machine at this point. But I won't. Don't worry about it. This thing is still useful. I can still use it as a test subject for turntables or whatnot. But yeah, let's get these woofers swapped over. Okay, so I ended up getting back inside it again because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I found the problem. The problem is that their head wire came off again. Figures. So what I'm going to have to do is try and do surgery on it from this angle. It's probably not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, that was the problem. So how about I get that shield out of the way after I unplug the unit first, of course. Get a Sony, I said. It'll be fun, I said. Well, I'm not really having that much fun, am I? Just fold that out of the way like so. Bring yonder iron over here, and I'm going to try and melt some insulation away. Because I'm not getting in there with a wire stripper very easily. This ain't working. Let me see if I can do it with my fingernails. Yes, I can do it with my fingernails. Solder, where is that? Right here. But yeah, never fails. There's always something with these things. All right, let me see if I can, well, probably not very easily. I'm going to have to turn it upside down in order to do this. There's no other way to do this, I don't think. All right, I will aim you up here so you can see what I'm doing. Now let me see if I can clean up this solder pad up here. Well, that's way too much solder. But it'll do, I'm sure. I don't care about keeping up appearances down in here. Not after all the fighting this deck's done. All right, that should about do it. How many times have I said that during this adventure? Actually, let me take a look at the other wire. I think it's on the verge of failing itself. Yes, it is. That'd be all I need, is to get it back together and find out the other wire needs to be done. All right, that ought to do it. I hope that'll do it. Ready to be done, this thing I am. Making it play unidirectionally is kind of worthless if one of the two channels doesn't work. All right, so let me spin this around so we can get at everything here. Let me reconnect the other speaker. And we'll just go ahead and plug her in. All right. We'll go like this. Should work well enough. And we got it. Still not trying to do anything with rewind and fast forward, but at this point I don't care. Okay, let me put this back together again, and then we'll deal with the speakers. Okay, speaker madness time. And I've got you sitting on top of the main unit while I'm doing this so you can watch me work. I'm noticing one thing interesting. The driver diaphragm radiating area on the speakers for the 9000 is a little bit smaller than I'm finding over here. Maybe that's just tricks of the light. Here, let me get my tape measure and we'll find out for sure. Okay, edge to edge, we got 70 millimeters there, and we've got 70 millimeters here, so I guess they are more or less the same. Apart from cosmetic differences, it looks like. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here. Easier said than done. I figured I'd do the one with the holes in the diaphragm first. Because why not? Now how the heck am I supposed to work on this? I think I gotta set it down like this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try to desolder this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this so you can see it what I'm doing. So let me see if I can get this desoldered. Yes, I can. So here's the driver from the original speaker. Nice big magnet on her. The number on it is 070A001 in case you need to know that. Impedance 6 ohms, 25 watts max. Made in Japan. Didn't expect it to be made anywhere else. So we'll put that one off to the side and then we'll try and desolder this one. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Get this rubber gasket off here. Oh, we got a different crossover in here. It seems like it's a pair of capacitors wired in series with this one. Yeah, the crossover is different. The old speakers do not have that. So that's kind of interesting. Just looking at it, these drivers are very obviously different too, but we're here for fixing some aesthetic issues, so I don't know if I care too much. This one's going to be trickier than the other one because of those two capacitors in there. But I will do my best. It's about all I can do. Apologies if you can't see this, but it's really hard to work in here. I just bought these for parts, so I'm not too worried about destroying anything. Especially for a machine that won't work properly with the cassette deck. And won't stop fighting me on the cassette deck. Alright, that's out. And we'll just take a quick look-see. Yeah, this is part number, what is it? Well, it's got a completely different part number than this one. And look at that. Magnets are much different, much bigger on the CFS-9000. So I'm questioning whether or not I even want these to be in my boombox here. So let's just compare part numbers here, if I can. This one says 8927220 or 22. I can't talk. 892722200. Yeah, these are completely different part numbers. Oh, and I got the wrong part number before on this other one. The actual part number is 892715600. So yeah, I'm noticing a rather large difference here on how well built the original woofer was. So, do I want to put this back together and just use the original speakers? No, I'll go ahead and swap them. I don't need holes in woofers. Let me just check and see if they fit. Yes, they do fit. That was expected. So I guess I'll solder that in, and then I'll do the other speaker off camera, and then we'll test afterwards. How's that sound? All right, we've got the woofers changed over and we're about to test. But before we do this, I just wanted to mention I have been in contact with the gear designer again, and he's going to be working on these gears some more to try and find a little better solution. My gut instinct is we got to go metal with this. We need a metal replacement. In fact, according to the gear designer, who is actually much more familiar with these units than I am, Sony actually released a bulletin and a brand new metal gear to replace these with back in the day. But of course, this being 30-something years later, you can't find that bulletin anymore and you can't find that gear anymore. So, unfortunately, this is the best we can do in order to find something that works. We've got to keep 3D printing stuff until we find the right thing. Now, as for this machine, I'm not working on this one anymore. It is what it is. I'm done with it. However, the designer of the gear has said he wants to contact me in the future once he does find better materials. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can find another one of these to work on in the future. I'd like to give it another shot, I think. Because eventually what I'd like to do is move into the FH7 or FH207. And those are another beast entirely. And if I'm going to be dealing with those, I have to be willing to get this little machine right at some point. But this particular one, we're ending it here. It's going to be used as a test subject for turntables and whatever else I find, because my Sanyo receiver up there now has a failed power switch and I can't use that thing anymore. So, unless I fix it. I might fix it. We'll see. Anyhow, let's test this. See if our new woofers are doing the trick here. seems to be fine. And just to show you real quick, I put the old woofers inside the CFS-9000 speakers. Kind of hard to see them here. But yeah, you can see this is the one that's got the holes poked in the diaphragm, so these should be working too. I just won't test them. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the saga for now for this 9000. Maybe I'll find a 9900 to go with these other speakers, and maybe I'll use that one to test out a new gear for this thing. We'll see what happens. But for now, that's going to be it. Take care, guys. See you next time.